All right, let's dive into Respondent today.
Okay.
Not just the basics. We're talking about turning this thing into a side hustle, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe even more than that.
Right.
So you were kind enough to send over this 1,000 Ways to Hustle guide.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got some really interesting advice. So we're going to use that as a jumping off point to really help our listeners make the most of this platform.
Yeah, and I think one of the most interesting things about Respondent is that it's not just for anyone, right? It's for professionals.
Okay.
So they're looking for people with very specific skills and experience and backgrounds.
So does that mean that you're limited in the amount of studies that are available?
It doesn't necessarily mean that, no, because they're looking for professionals. A lot of times, they're looking for decision makers and people like that who have very specific roles in their organizations.
I see.
And so if you fit into that category, then you're really a hot commodity.
Gotcha. So your profile is super important then, right? I mean, the guide really hammers that home.
Yes.
Like it's your research resume.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I guess I'm wondering, wouldn't filling it all out make it just super long and tedious for someone to actually look at?
It's really a balancing act, right?
Yeah.
You have to make sure that every detail is filled out.
Okay.
But you also want to make sure that you're hitting the high points and using industry-specific keywords that a researcher might use in their searches.
So like software.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like specific methodologies that you're familiar with.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like SEO for your research profile.
It is.
Oh.
Yeah. And the other thing is, and the guide mentions this too, and we talk about this a lot on this show, is LinkedIn.
Right.
It's so important to have your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
Not only does it make you look really professional and that you're serious about, but also it's about visibility, right? Researchers actually use LinkedIn to find participants who have very specific experience. And so by connecting your profile to your respondent profile, you're opening yourself up to a whole new stream of potential study invitations.
But why is LinkedIn more important than just the work experience section?
It adds a layer of credibility. That's what I was going to say.
Gotcha.
So researchers can see, your recommendations, your connections. It's like a stamp of approval on your experience and your expertise.
All right. So LinkedIn, crucial. What about the About Me section?
Yeah.
I always feel like that trips me up.
About Me section's amazing.
Really?
This is where you can really showcase your unique perspective.
Okay.
Of course, you want to mention your key skills and stuff.
Yeah.
Also talk about why you're interested in research.
Right.
What are you hoping to learn?
Yeah.
What kind of impact do you want to make? That kind of thing.
So make it personal.
Yeah, make it personal.
I like it.
So you're more than just a list of skills on a page.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah. And remember, honesty is key.
Okay.
Respondent, they can verify your information, especially like employment details.
Gotcha.
They're very serious about maintaining that integrity of the research. So no exaggerating those job titles.
Okay. So don't lie.
Don't lie.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. Now let's talk about applying for studies strategically.
Right.
So this is important. It's not just about applying to everything you see.
Yeah.
You really want to be selective.
Okay. So how do I know what to prioritize?
Well, think about it. You're not going to see the payout right away, but you can get a feel for the types of studies by looking at the descriptions and looking at who they're targeting.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like we've talked about already, having a really strong profile is going to help you here, because if you've highlighted your expertise well, you're more likely to get invited to studies that are actually a good fit.
I see. So it's like a bit of a chicken and egg.
It is.
A good profile leads to better studies, which leads to hopefully higher earning.
Absolutely. And that leads us into applications. Let's talk about screener questions.
Oh, yeah.
This is a big one.
Yeah.
This is where you got to be very careful to find that sweet spot between being thorough and being concise.
So don't ramble.
Don't ramble.
Okay.
But wouldn't it be better to just give more information? Yeah. Well, not necessarily. Researchers are busy people.
Right.
They need to be able to skim your responses and quickly assess if you're a good fit for the study.
Yeah.
So just answer the question, provide specific details, and avoid going off on tangents.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, some applications, they'll allow you to include a personalized message.
Yeah.
Are those worth the effort?
Well, I would think so.
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is your chance to really stand out.
Okay.
To highlight relevant experience, to express enthusiasm for that study.
So it's a little mini cover letter.
It is a mini cover letter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so take advantage of it.
Okay, so I've got my perfect profile, my mini cover letter, and I'm applying for all the right things. But what if I don't get chosen?
Well, that's a great question, and that happens even with, a stellar profile, perfect applications. You're not going to get chosen for every study.
Okay.
That's just the nature of it.
So you got to be patient?
Yeah, and play the long game.
Okay.
Right. So let's talk about what happens after you're selected for a study.
All right.
What can you actually expect?
I'm ready. So what does it look like once I'm in a study?
Oh, there's a lot of different formats.
Okay.
On Respondent, probably the most common one that you'll see is the remote interview.
Okay.
Which is, those one-on-one video calls where you're really sharing your expertise and your insights.
Okay.
And those usually pay the best because they're requiring more of your time and attention.
I see.
So it's not just, giving your opinion on something. It's really about you sharing what,
Gotcha. So what other kinds of studies are there?
You got your online surveys,
right,
which can be, pretty quick.
Yeah.
But, pay less.
Makes sense.
Then there are focus groups,
okay,
either online or in person, where you're discussing a topic with other participants.
Interesting.
Those can be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Because you get to hear different perspectives.
I like that.
Yeah. Bounce ideas off of each other.
Yeah. Are there any other formats?
Yeah. You got usability tests.
Okay.
Where you're trying out a website or an app.
Okay.
Giving feedback on how easy it is to use.
Okay.
Those are cool because a lot of times you get to see new tech before it's even released to the public.
I like that.
And then less common, but there are in-person studies.
Okay.
Which obviously you have to go somewhere.
Right.
But they often pay more to make up for the travel and all that.
Gotcha. Okay. So the guide talks about how a lot of these studies are for specific industries. So if I'm not in tech or healthcare or finance, does that mean I'm out of luck?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
They definitely focus a lot on those professional industries, like you said.
Yeah.
Tech, healthcare, finance, marketing. But they also have tons of studies that target consumers.
Okay.
With specific demographics or product usage.
I see.
So there really is something for everyone.
So even without that super specific background, you can still find some good stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's say I am in one of those industries, though.
Right.
Can I just sit back and let the invitations roll in?
Well, you're definitely going to have an edge if you have that specialized background.
Okay.
But it's not a guarantee.
Okay.
You still have to be proactive.
Okay.
You got to browse the studies regularly, use those filters, narrow down relevant opportunities, and of course, make sure your profile's up to date.
Okay, so even if you're in the right industry, you still have to put in the work.
Absolutely.
I see.
And that leads us to our favorite,
the
referral program.
Yes. Tell me about it.
The guide calls it a gold mine.
Right. Sell me on this gold mine.
It is. Yeah. So not only can you earn money for referring new participants to Respondent,
correct,
you can also earn money for referring new researchers.
Oh, wow.
To the platform. So you're really doubling your earning potential.
But wouldn't everybody be doing this if it's so great?
The key is to be strategic about it.
Okay.
Don't just spam everyone with your referral link.
Yeah.
Think about who would actually benefit from being on Respondent.
Okay.
So maybe you have friends in certain industries that are always, being asked to do research.
Yeah.
Maybe some colleagues that are looking to earn some side income.
Right.
And when you do share your link, explain the benefits,
Okay.
Tell them, hey, you can earn some money by sharing your expertise. It's flexible.
Right.
You can learn some new things along the way.
And you can see how your referrals are doing.
You can, yeah.
All right.
Respondent has a dashboard where you can track all that.
I like that. I like seeing the progress.
It keeps you motivated, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So speaking of tracking things,
yeah,
the guide talks about how important it is to stay up to date on Respondent's policies and procedures.
Do I really need to read through all that stuff?
It's more important than you think.
Okay.
Because they do make updates to their rules and features.
Yeah.
Even their payout structure.
Gotcha.
So you want to make sure you're not missing out on anything.
Right.
Or accidentally violating a policy.
So how do I do that?
Check their website, read their emails, follow them on social media.
Okay, stay in the loop.
Stay in the loop.
Got it. Okay, so now on to something that's not so fun, but definitely important.
Yeah.
Taxes.
Yes.
The guide reminds us that all income from Respondent is taxable. So what does that look like?
Well, essentially, you are considered an independent contractor.
Okay.
When you're earning money on Respondent.
Oh,
which means you are responsible for paying your own taxes.
Okay, so I just keep track of everything.
You do. You need to keep meticulous records of your earnings. And then if you earn over a certain amount, you'll get a 1099.
At the end of the year?
At the end of the year.
Okay, so maybe talk to a tax person.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, got it. So can I combine Respondent with other online earning platforms?
You absolutely can.
Okay.
And I actually recommend it.
Oh, really?
Diversifying your income is always a good idea.
Okay.
So you could combine Respondent with prolific, user testing, even freelancing platforms if you have those skills.
So it's all about that multiple income streams.
Exactly.
Okay. Would that be too much to keep track of, though?
It takes some organization, for sure.
Yeah.
And a good amount of time management.
Right.
So just make sure you're finding a balance that works for you.
Okay, so diversification, but balance.
Yes.
I can get behind that.
Exactly.
Okay, the guide mentioned something called screenouts.
Oh, yeah.
What are those?
Screenouts are basically when you get disqualified from a study, even though you thought you were a good fit based on the description.
Oh, so annoying.
It can be super frustrating.
Why does that even happen?
Well, researchers, they have very specific criteria.
Okay.
And sometimes even the smallest discrepancy can lead to you getting screened out.
So is it my profile isn't good enough?
No, it's not usually a reflection of your profile.
Okay.
It's just that they need very specific people.
Okay.
For their research.
So it's not personal?
Not personal at all, just part of the game.
So just keep applying.
Keep applying.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Is there any way to completely avoid it?
There's not really a way to completely avoid it, but there are things you can do to minimize it.
Okay.
Make sure your profile's accurate and up to date.
Mm-hmm.
Read those descriptions carefully.
Okay.
Answer the screener questions thoughtfully.
Okay.
And even if you do get screened out,
yeah,
sometimes they might give you a partial compensation for your time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
At least it's something. Okay, so what about feedback? Is there a rating system?
There's not a public one.
Oh.
But researchers can provide feedback internally.
Okay.
So, even though you don't see a star rating,
right,
your performance is being tracked.
Okay, so it still matters.
It definitely still matters.
Interesting.
Yeah, because that can lead to repeat invitations.
Okay.
Personal requests for future studies.
I see. So reputation matters even behind the scenes.
It does. It does.
Gotcha. So the guide talks about Respondent being a long game.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So you're not going to get rich quick.
Okay.
You need to be consistent, provide that high-quality participation,
yeah,
and you need to be patient.
So it's not just about making a quick buck.
It's not.
It's about building those relationships.
Yeah.
And being a reliable participant.
Exactly. And as you build that reputation, you'll see more study invitations coming your way.
Okay.
And potentially even earn more per study as you become known for your expertise.
So like anything else, the more you put in, the more you get out.
Exactly. And it's not just about the money either.
Okay.
Participating in these studies can actually be a learning experience in itself.
Okay.
You're getting exposed to new industries,
yeah,
different research methodologies, even cutting-edge technologies sometimes.
Wow, I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah, so it's a great way to expand your knowledge.
Broaden your horizons.
Yeah, maybe even discover some new interests.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Any other thoughts before we move on to the big picture?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot when it comes to Respondent.
We have.
But if there was one piece of advice you could give to somebody just starting out, what would it be?
Honestly, I would say focus on that profile.
Okay.
Your profile is everything.
Gotcha.
It's your first impression.
Right.
So make sure you fill it out completely.
Okay.
Highlight your skills, use those industry keywords we talked about, and connect your LinkedIn profile.
Okay, profile, check. Okay, what's next?
Now you got to start applying strategically.
Okay.
Remember, quality over quantity.
Right.
So don't just apply to every study you see.
Okay.
Really spend some time browsing, get a feel for what's out there, and focus on the studies that you're truly an expert in.
So be picky.
Be picky.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, you mentioned screener questions.
Yeah, how do I not get screened out?
Okay, think like a researcher.
Okay.
What information are they looking for?
Yeah.
Be concise.
Yeah.
Use those keywords.
Yeah.
Highlight why you're relevant. And don't be afraid to show off your knowledge a little bit.
Show off a little.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in a study.
Okay.
What do I do?
Okay, this is important. Treat it like a professional engagement.
Okay.
Be on time, dress appropriately, make sure your tech is working.
Right.
And during the study, be an active listener. Give those thoughtful answers.
Yeah.
And show the researcher that you're really invested.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Be professional, be prepared, be engaged.
But what if something goes wrong?
If something goes wrong, take a deep breath. Respondent has a support team that's there to help. So you can reach out if you have any issues.
Okay, good to know.
All right.
So is Respondent the ultimate side hustle?
I would say it's a really good one.
Okay.
It's not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Okay.
But it is a legitimate way to earn extra income by doing something you're already good at.
Right.
And you're in control.
Yeah.
You choose the studies you want. You set your own schedule.
Yeah, I like that.
And you can actually learn something along the way.
Yeah, and it's not just about the money.
Right.
It's about being a part of something.
Yeah.
Maybe even contributing to something bigger than yourself.
Exactly. You might be gaining insights into new industries, discovering emerging trends, even connecting with some influential people.
That's awesome.
So what are you waiting for?
Yeah. To our listener out there, what kind of research study are you most excited about on Respondent?
Yeah. What are you passionate about?
What expertise are you ready to share with the world?
Yeah, the possibilities are endless.
Don't forget to check out our show notes for links to some helpful resources.
Yes, definitely.
And thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Respondent.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And to you, our listener, keep diving deep.
Keep learning.
Until next time.
Stay curious.